What's going on, everyone? Charlie here. We're going to continue on with the Discord bot tutorial series. And remember, you can utilize the code snippet website that I've made for this series, where you can basically go and just copy all of the code that I go over, copy and paste it right into your project, and then it will work the same way as I'm demonstrating in these videos. The latest one I've done is the views and buttons. So again, you can just go here, copy it, paste it into your file, and it should work the exact same as demonstrated. So in this one, I'm going to show you how you can get stock market data and create commands in your Discord that will use these APIs to bring you stock market data to your Discord. And this is 100% free, doesn't require any kind of subscription service. All you have to do is sign up for STOCKSERA, and they will provide you with a free API key. You'll just want to make sure you store that API key somewhere in your project folder. And for our series here, we have it in the config.py folder or file is where you would put it. And I've defined mine as STOCKSERA key. And you will have to install the STOCKSERA library as well. Just make sure you go into your command prompt, have your correct environment activated, and install STOCKSERA by doing pip install STOCKSERA, STOCKSERA. That will install it. And then once you have installed it, we're going to create a file called ss.py. We're going to import STOCKSERA. We're going to import our key from config, STOCKSERA key, and we're also going to create the client by saying client equals STOCKSERA.client, and we will pass in the STOCKSERA key. And that's basically all we need to do to get access to the functions now. And to see the functions, we can do client dot, and then these are all of the different functions that we have available to us. So we have borrowed shares, daily treasury, earnings calendar, FTD, house, inflation, insider trading, IPO calendar, jobless claims, market news, market summary, news sentiment, things like that. So let's do news sentiment for this example. So we will define this as news equals, and we'll just close this off in parentheses. Now when we do that, it's going to take one argument that's a ticker. So we will pass in Apple just for this example. Let's do NVIDIA. And now what we can do is we can print news to see the response that we'll get in the terminal. And here's the response here. So it's a lot of data to look at. This is just the raw response from this function. So we can clean this up a little bit by doing for I in news, print I. And this will show us the different news articles in a cleaner format. Now, if we wanted to extract the actual attributes from each index that we saw there, we could just say news 0, and that will give us the individual attributes that we would need to parse this data. So we have 4 available to us. We will have date, title, link, and sentiment. So what we can do is we can say date equals I, date, if date, in I, else none, for I in news. And that will give us all of the dates for all of the articles in the response. Then we just copy this over to each of the other attributes, and then replace the names inside of the list comprehension with the correct attribute name. And it has to be the exact same as what you see in the data itself. So now when we print this, we can print date, and we will get all of the dates by themselves rather than that whole jumbled mess. So we can see here that the dates are in order, the latest being 7/3. So we can look at the data that way to tell which order it's in, because sometimes these APIs will be in the opposite order, which you'll need to account for. And now from here, we can easily make a data frame. And if you haven't already, you may need to install pandas, which to do this, you would do pip install pandas. This will install the pandas library, which we will then import as PD. And what this library can do is create spreadsheets for us, or data tables, data frames. And to do that, we're going to say data dictionary equals, and then with curly brackets, we're going to say date is date, title is title, link is link, and then we'll say sentiment is sentiment. And then we will say data frame equals pd.dataframe, and we'll pass in the data dictionary. And then what we can do is print the data frame, and it will print the data frame to us just like that. So we just get a couple, or like it's basically like a preview. If we wanted to get the whole data frame and look at it, we could say df.to_CSV, and then we'll say news sentiment, and then we'll pass in the ticker that we put in. So we'll say news sentiment underscore ticker, and we will define ticker as NVIDIA up here, and we will replace NVIDIA with ticker right here, and then we will reprint this, and we should look in our file structure now and see that file. And whoops, I forgot to put .csv at the end, but you could save it as a text file if you wanted to. So now we have a nice CSV file with all of the news for NVIDIA dated back to 6/28. So very useful. And now you can get this to Discord very easily since we have this ready. And here, what we can do is we can take this whole code here, right here, from date till data dictionary, really all the way down to data frame. What we can do now is we're going to create a new folder called models. And then in this folder, we're going to create one called ss.py, which is going to be the same thing as our ss.py here, except it's going to hold STOCKSERA models to help us model the data. So what we're going to do is class, what was this one? News sentiment. And we'll say define init self data, and we will paste in that code now. Or let's change data to news, just so we don't have to change anything in the actual structure here. And then we'll just need to import pandas at the top. And we just need to add self dot in front of all of the attributes here. So self.date, self.title, self.link, and then down here as well in the data dictionary, and then down here in the data frame. So now if we want to work with this within Discord, what we can do is go to our main bot file, and anywhere in between bot equals my bot and bot.load extensions is where we can add in additional code for like testing and things like that. So to add in and get this command to Discord, what we can do is at bot.command, we'll say async def news, we'll say context commands.context, and we'll pass in a ticker as well. And we'll give it a doc string, which will be gets the latest news for a ticker. Now what we can do is up here, we'll say from models.ss import news sentiment. And then we can say from ss import, actually we don't need to import anything from there. We'll just go to ss and we will copy this line here, just this one line, really these two lines. We will paste it there, erase that one, import STOCKSERA here, import our key, and then down here we will paste the client or the news definition. So basically now what we can do is whenever we get the data, so we can say data equals, well, the news is the data, so all we have to do now is wrap it in that class that we just made. So we can say news data equals news, or news sentiment news, and then we can access all those attributes very easily with dot notation. So you can see here we have date, the data frame, the link, the sentiment, the title. So if we wanted to just return the latest news article to Discord back to the user, we could say embed equals dissnake.embed, title equals news for ticker, and then the description will be news title, and then we'll say news data dot title. We can say news description is news data dot, I guess there's not a description. We'll do link. So let's just do the sentiment, news sentiment, either bearish or bullish, and then news sentiment, news title, and then we'll make a field, embed dot add field. Name is going to be, we'll come back to the name. What other data variables do we have left? We have the link and the data frame. So we'll put a link to the article here. So we'll call this link, and then we'll say the value is going to be news data dot link, and that will post the link in the embed. So we have the news ticker in the title. The description of the embed is going to hold the news title for the news article, and then the news sentiment provided by the news article as well. And then we can also do something interesting with the coloring of the embed. we can say color, or we can say, hold on, if news data dot sentiment is not none and news data dot sentiment is bullish, color equals disnake.color.dark green. Else color equals disnake.color.dark red. That way, depending on which side the sentiment's on, it's actually going to change the color output of the embed. So we'll do color equals color, just like that. So let's go ahead and also await context.send embed equals embed. And then when we run this, we should be able to say news ticker, and it will provide us with an embed of the latest news article for a ticker. And the coloring will be dependent on whether it's bullish or bearish. So let's go ahead and run this real quick. Got a couple of errors down here. I'm just going to delete ss.py. I don't need it for right now. And then I'll run the file, and then we will go and test this out. Erase this stuff from the last video. Whoops. Those are the buttons examples that we went over. The ChatGPT. Okay, so from here, what we're going to do is we're going to call the command, which is just news. So news GME. Oh, wrong prefix. News GME. Let's see, we got an error. Okay, so embed size exceeds the maximum size of 6,000. So the problem is when we define all those variables, we only, or we're basically trying to call all of the different news articles to this embed, which won't work. So to fix this and get the latest one, all we have to do is zero off all of these variables right here, and it will fix the problem. Let's try that again. And you can see there that we get the news title, the news for GME. We have the title, which is GME lowering price target to $20. The news sentiment is neutral. Oh, I didn't know there was a neutral one. So in that case, hold on. So we're going to adjust this if statement real quick. So if it's bullish, it'll be green. If it's is not none and news data dot sentiment equals neutral, color is disnake.color. Let's do dark gray for neutral. That way it'll be more reflective of what the sentiment is. I did not know there was a neutral one, so that's going to be useful there. So we'll erase that. We'll do it again. News GME. Oh, it's still red. Hold on. Neutral. Neutral. Spelled it right. Spelled it right. Dark gray. Let's do if news data dot sentiment is not none and news data dot sentiment equals bearish. Color is disnake.color.dark red, and then else color equals disnake.color.dark gold. And we'll try it this way. News AMD. Why is it coming out gold? Is there like a white space there or something? Let's try to do it like this. We'll print out, to debug this, we'll print out news data dot sentiment to see what is the value, because it's not triggering with the logic here. Oh, we didn't, do we put the color on there? Yeah, color is color. Okay, cool. News AMD. Okay, so it's still bullish. Oh, whoops. So where I messed up, it's if news data.sentiment 0. That's where I went wrong. So we've got a 0 index it off since those are lists of data. So news AMD. Still yellow. Okay, so let's do it this way. News sentiment equals news data dot sentiment 0. And then we'll say if news sentiment is not none and news sentiment is 0 or is bullish, it'll be green. Let's try it this way. News AMD, and it's still gold. What is the problem there? Let's erase this else statement. Oh, you know what? If. Else if. That could be the problem. News Apple. Come on. Huh, interesting. Let's do news sentiment here. Let's look at the printout statement. It's still printing out all of them. News sentiment is news data.sentiment 0. Interesting. Well, either way, the command works, so you at least got that. I will have to figure this out. Let's post this to ChatGPT and see if it can give us an answer. Oh, of course I have to log in because it wants me to expose everything. Why is the color not changing when the sentiment is the correct trigger? Oh, okay. Yeah, we got to strip it. Okay. So I didn't think you could strip a list, though, so we'll see. Still no. Oh. Dot lower. No, we don't want dot lower. We want just standard. And then we don't, yeah, then we don't get a color value. So that's interesting. Let's try it this way. I'm going to call the command again. And it's going to break it here. What's the news sentiment? Bullish. Oh, because I still have that space in front of it. So that was right. We should have had that right. News Apple. This should work. There we go. Okay. So that was a problem. I needed to strip out the list. So thanks, GPT. You did it. So let's try again. News. GME. Neutral should be gray. All right. I need to take off that breakpoint. Okay, gray, perfect. And then news. What was a bearish one? Let's Baidu. No, they had bullish news. Any bearish news today? Tesla? No, they had bullish news too. But anyways, you see how easy it is. Now we have a working bot command that gets news to the Discord. Pretty cool stuff. Anyways, hope this helped.